Welcome to EDSL 500. The focus for today is on how digital media can play a role in learning English as a second language in Quebec. What is on the agenda for today? Well, we will begin with the QEP, followed by Bill 101, and then we will touch upon motivation in ESL, as well as information about ESL classrooms, and touch upon the different platforms which are available to you as teachers. Did you know that according to the QEP, it has been shown that with 1.5 hours to 2 hours a week of English, students were able to make significant progress in English second language. While I know many English second language teachers do not agree with this 1 to 2 hours a week being enough, we have to keep in mind that the QEP program is set up in a way that one of the main expectations is that students will be able to function in English in a communicative capacity.
Hello everyone, today I'm going to talk to you about Bill 101. First, what is Bill 101? Well, Bill 101 is the Charter of the French language. It was adopted into law on August 26, 1977 by Camille Lorrain, which was at the time the Minister of Cultural Development under the first Parti Québécois government, which was at the time governed by René Lévesque. This law was adopted after Bill 22, which is the Official Language Act, which recognized French as one of the official language of Canada. You might ask, what was the objective of this law? Well, the main objectives of the law was to, quote, make French the language of government and the law, as well as the normal and everyday language of work, instruction, communication, commerce, and businesses. This was meant in order for French-speaking citizens of Quebec to have the same rights and privileges as English citizens, which most French citizens at the time felt that they were, because of their French background, second-class citizens, only due to the fact that they could not see their language being recognized as much as English. So basically, the act was to address the fundamental language rights of French Quebec speakers. Those rights were, first, the right to have civil administration, the health services and social services, the public utility, enterprise, the professional corporation. It was also in the second part of the Fundamental Language Act. It was to have the right to speak French and deliberate assemblies, which is Article 3. Article 4 was the right of workers to carry on their activities in French. Article 5, the right of consumers to be informed and serve in French. And Article 6, the right of person eligible for instruction in Quebec to receive that instruction in French. And this is the reason as well why we have to talk about Bill 101 today, especially about the right of instruction in Quebec, and that instruction to be in French was because a lot of French Quebecers felt like French school were underprivileged, underpaid, and overlooked because they were French school. This bill served as a way to first impose that immigrant code to French school, and second, to force French parents who were sending their kids to English school to actually make them go to French school and only keep in English schools kids that parents went to English school. And as you may have guessed, the biggest repercussion thus far in education is that there is a wider divide.
However, according to Bill 101, the study of English as second language is encouraged in Quebec. With the implementation of Bill 101, both Francophone and Allophone students must attend schools in French. That means, in Quebec, the number of Allophone students who study in French elementary and high school has risen dramatically since the implementation of Bill 101. According to the Quebec Office of the French Language, as of 2015, about 85% of young allophones attend French schools. In 1971, it was only 14.6%. However, To attend an English board school, children must meet very specific criteria to apply. Who can attend an English school? Children with a right under law to attend an English school, children with serious learning difficulties who are given special permission, children facing a serious family or humanitarian situation who are given special permission, children in Quebec temporarily. Let's take a look into the QEP. The Ministry of Education of Quebec offers two different streams of English language: English as a second language and English language arts, the second being offered in English schools. Moreover, there are two different progressions of learning in English as a second language: the core programs and the enriched programs. The core programs consist of the culture section, under which you can find the aesthetics, sociological, and sociolinguistic aspects. The language repertoire section consists of three elements essential to the development of students' linguistic competences in English. The strategies section consists of two categories. The process section consists of the response, writing, and production process. The text section consists of text types, text components, and text features. The enriched program has add-ons to the core program. Hence, there is the addition of reflecting on the three aspects of culture in the cultural section. The language repertoire has two additional elements. The strategies section remains fairly the same. The process section consists of the same components. However, there is a reflection subpart added to each of the three components. The text section remains the same, with a reflecting on knowledge of text added to it.
Is there a lack of motivation to learn English in Quebec? In 2010, the Canadian Association of Second Language Teachers and Heritage Canada created an online survey to investigate the diverse challenges that ESL teachers face while teaching in private and public schools across Canada. This survey showed that in Quebec, the major obstacle indicated by ESL teachers was the lack of learners' motivation in the classrooms. Teachers mentioned that the students were not able to recognize the importance of English for their future. It also seems that English is often viewed negatively by students, even by those who have already reached functional oral proficiency. Whereas student motivation is an issue for ESL teachers in Quebec and New Brunswick, motivation is not the main issue for ESL teachers in the PE province. Thus, this suggests that the specific teaching contexts in Quebec and New Brunswick play a big role in a student's motivation. Learners' exposure to English in their community may be quite limited, and the time assigned to ESL in the school system is also limited. In Quebec, students receive a few hours of ESL instruction per week. Therefore, in this context, teachers need to make considerable efforts to promote the importance of learning English. Teachers' perceptions of whether students' motivation can be changed or not is another interesting point. For example, when Quebec teachers were given the freedom to say one thing that would facilitate their current teaching situation, they did not mention students' motivation. This finding was surprising because these teachers had already agreed that learners' motivation was one of the major challenges. This may suggest that ESL teachers may feel pedagogically powerless when they have to motivate students to learn English. Also, it seems that other learning conditions, such as class size and increased time for ESL teaching, could have an impact on overall motivation. There has been a study that shows that computer-assisted language learning enhances the students' motivation in ESL learning in Quebec's CEGEPs. The use of constructive and communicative computer-assisted language learning is active learning. The teacher plays the role of a coach, and the learner is encouraged to discover knowledge with the help of scaffolding techniques. The learner is self-motivated, and this increases learning. Digital storytelling is a multimodal approach that can be applied in second language learning. The personal narrative is a writing genre that is relevant to all levels of education, including higher education. At the college level, narrative writing is most often part of the remedial curriculum, where students may lack motivation. Helping students find the inspiration to write is an ongoing challenge for educators. However, Juan and Juan show that digital storytelling projects can improve student motivation and problem-solving abilities. Gunther also considers the motivational aspects, distinguishing extrinsic and intrinsic motivation. External motivators include prizes or extra points, while intrinsic motivation involves the creation of an authentic artifact to establish a personal investment. The claim is that digital storytelling provides intrinsic motivation, and that is more effective in the long term.
Did you know that according to research, there is a high correlation between gaming and learning English as a second language? For example, the game The Sims. By adding material to the game in order to make vocabulary input more comprehensible for players, two separate studies reveal positive results regarding the participants' English second language vocabulary. Moreover, using multimedia, or as we call it, digital media in ESL classrooms, helps learners to gain broad access to oral communication, both visual and auditory. With the student-centered approach being favorable in the QEP, digital media use provides a rich input environment. This allows the students to focus on both meaning and form. Digital media can be used just like any traditional method in the ESL classroom. It allows students to communicate, read back and forth the text, repeat, and pay close attention to language. While one of the easiest ways to incorporate digital media is to involve videos, audiovisual, in the ESL classroom, for students to have an interactive input, the use of gaming, digital literacy, Google Classrooms, online assignments will help them improve their reading and writing input and output as well. Moreover, the use of digital media in ESL classrooms targets the cross-curricular competencies and the broad area competencies in the QEP.
While we live in a digital media era, let's take a minute now to look at different applications which are available to teachers and how they can be implemented in their classrooms. The first one we have chosen to discuss is Wiki Classrooms. This website allows teachers to create a platform where students can work collaboratively. Therefore, the goal of this website in an educational setting is to work together. As a teacher, you can set up quizzes, discussion posts, as well as post your notes and important information on it, allowing students to go back, reflect, and make corrections if necessary. It is a peer-edited program where teachers can keep track of what is being corrected. The goal behind this was to emphasize how Wikipedia is often frowned upon due to the fact that anyone can go in and edit it. However, what is great about this site is that it shows all the debates and conversations which occur before a change is made, which is very similar to Wikipedia. The goal is to teach students to be critical, and this site is a great way to show them how it's done. It can be used in any ESL context, as long as you go ahead and make the topics reflective of what you're teaching. The interesting and fun part about it is that it's accessible online, and there's privacy settings to allow it to be a closed classroom, so only you and your students can go access it. The second website we chose to discuss was Google Docs. We found this very interesting because it emphasizes, again, collaborative work, and it allows students to work on projects from a distance. Other applications are anything in regards to social media. Therefore, it can be anything from Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. So the reason for this is that students can learn how to create concise, clear sentences using Twitter because you only have 280 characters to do so. Or you can even create a Facebook page for your classroom and create statuses and allow students to discuss on it, whether it be grammatical or a topic. The last one we've chosen to mention is Powtoon. While this is a new tool that many of us have come across this year, it allows students to be creative. Why is this great for ESL? Well, can be a great tool for people who are shy. Teachers can listen to a student's Powtoon to grade Competency 1, which focuses on oral communication. Hopefully now that this presentation is over, you have a better idea as to why English Second Language is a difficult subject to teach in Quebec. We hope that you have a greater understanding as to why your students may not seem to be motivated, as well as why and how Bill 101 plays a role in our ESL classrooms. The main focus of our presentation was how to incorporate digital media in an ESL context, as well as how it can be beneficial. We hope we did a good job explaining this to you, but we also hope you enjoyed the different examples we have provided for you at the end. Thank you for listening.